Hello, good evening, or whatever time it is for you. This is the pre-party for the 1 Million Women to Tech Summer of Code Q&A. We have 260 people registered for tonight. I expect about half of them will try to come, hopefully, to the live event. So far, we are 52 people. Hi, Dora. Where in Hungary are you? I'm Ilona Budapesti, President of Oxford Entrepreneurs and Chief Storyteller of 1 Million Women to Tech. And from my name, perhaps you can guess that I'm Hungarian. Deborah from Paraguay, living in Europe. Sarah from Chemnitz, Germany. Javaria from Karachi, Pakistan. Ayman from Lahore, Pakistan. Veronica from Budapest, Hungary. Sia. Anita, Italian, but lives in London. IT consultant Natalie from London, where it's actually sunny today. Cao from Tianjin, China, and my teammate. Nandika Kara from Stuttgart. Lisa with a T-Rex. Cresting from Münster, Germany. Sarama from Toronto, Canada. Angelika Ruga from Heidelberg, Germany. Oh, wonderful. Lisa from Finland. Sada from Karachi, Pakistan. Diana from Chitra, Pakistan. Laura, how do you say that? Järvinen, Helsinki, Finland. Mariam from Baku, Azerbaijan. Welcome, Azerbaijan. Let's have a little practice here. If you can hear me properly, please give me a little B, which is for a thumbs up, because the letter B, the small B on your keyboard looks like a thumbs up. So if you do a little B in the chat, I know you can hear me. And if you cannot hear, then a little P would be a down. Okay, great. Lots of thumbs ups. Good. Excellent. Okay. Hi, Olga. Currently from Germany. Okay, there are 61 of us. And it's 8 p.m. Welcome, everybody. We'll get started. This is the 1 Million Women to Tech Summer of Code Q&A, which will happen from July 14th to October 14th, 2018, Oxford and online. Congratulations to all of you who have successfully pre-registered, and clearly you are the most committed ones because you're right here, you have questions. I'd like to start first with asking you to throw out your most pressing question. So what is your number one question that brought you into the Q&A today? And I do have about 50 slides, so I will probably cover them, but I would just love to hear it. So 1, 2, 3, go. What's your number one question? Hi, Jenny from Bremen, Germany. And Taru from New Delhi, India. Laura's asking how to sign up and when. Well, the earlier the better. And the way to sign up is through the main website, which is 1millionwomentotech.com/summerofcode1. So let me just put that link in the chat. There is a big pre-register button, and then there is a form that asks you about your background and your current ability so that we know who you are. So that's how you sign up. Will it be effective for beginners? We do hope so, yes, and I will cover some of that. We'll give you some learning paths. How good would it be for a beginner to do just Summer of Code? I think very good. Depends, of course, how much time you have, but we'll talk about time and expectations. Hi, Maricel from La Foliola, Spain. I only have little experience in coding and no team. Is it going to be a problem? No. The courses cover a range from the complete beginner who's never written even one line of code to the PhD in computer science, and I will go through each course a little bit to give you more detail. If you don't have a team, it won't be a problem, but of course you will be at a disadvantage, because to win prizes, you can have up to 6 people in a team. And if you're competing as a group who has 6 people, they will have a lot more chance. Not to mention it's more fun, and positive peer pressure is the greatest gift we can give each other. So I strongly urge you to invite other people and friends and family to join you. And I will talk about it more. Okay, what do I need to be successful in this course? Oh, excellent. Okay, we'll talk about that. What do you need? Time and a good internet connection, the ability to read English and hopefully listen. Do we get a certificate of participation in Summer of Code? Oh, that's a great question. We've been thinking about that. Let me just read through the questions, and I'm going to have a poll. I'm going to ask you about the certificate in a poll. A lot of this today will be a two-way Q&A. So I will tell you what we have already decided so far, and also what we haven't, so that you can influence in the next 2 months what we will make available to you. What will be the timing of this Summer Code? Very good. So we know the dates. I also have a weekly schedule that I'm going to share with you today. But we are receiving different kinds of requests from all of you via mostly Facebook. And so I'm going to ask for a little poll as well to see which times of day and which days of the week are best for you, so we can maximize the synchronous interaction. You will always have access to the content 24/7, and you will be able to ask questions 24/7 asynchronously via the forums, but we would love to maximize the interactivity. How should you approach it if you're a beginner? Suparna, I'll talk about that. How successful have previous camps been? Kitsumpang, that's a very good question. I will talk a little bit about previous examples. Do you have events for people who already know how to code at an intermediate level? Yes. When I go through the 12 courses, I would say, except for 2 and the UI, except for 3 courses, they are all sort of intermediate and advanced, so definitely. Was there some limit how many can get into this Summer of Code? It's a very good point. We will talk about that. Right now we have capacity to deliver a good course to about 500 people, but there are already more than 2,000 of you who have applied, and we would love to reach 50,000. So yes, there is a limit, but we are working on increasing that as we speak. And if you volunteer with us, we can increase that capacity. So think about that. Do we receive certificate of participation? Which coding languages? Okay, mostly Python and JavaScript. I'll talk about that. I heard we're going to team up in group. How is that going to work? I will cover team. It's very good. Compulsory to work on a team. Archana, it's not compulsory to work on a team. It's just a great benefit to you. LT, will it all be replayable if you happen to miss a session? Yes, definitely. Hi, Marfa from Helsinki. Has the webinar started? Yes. Kirsten, yes. Veronica, can we team up with other people who also then have a team? Absolutely. And every Saturday morning, as you'll see, we'll have a team meetings. What is the main aspect that will be covered? Web programming, etc. Certificate would be great. Okay. Wait, Oxford and online? Are there physical events happening in Oxford? Okay, good. Now there are 75 of us. How can a beginner volunteer with you? What can we offer? Very good. Mostly outreach efforts, but I will cover all of that. So I think let's start with a little bit of a poll. I'll ask an interactive poll, which is very simple. I will say, would a certificate of completion be of interest for you? Yes, no. Okay. I think you should see a poll asking you whether a certificate of completion would be interest. I expect a lot of yeses. No, some no's. Okay. We've been thinking about this. Most likely we will do some sort of certification for those of you who, and probably we will do it on a weekly basis. So if you take a specific course and you complete the basic requirements, then you will get the certificate for the basic level. If you complete the intermediate questions, you'll get the intermediate certificate, advanced questions, advanced certificate, and if you solve like the research questions, we'll give you a certificate of excellence or something like that. Excellent. Okay, we have 96% said yes, 4% said no. So I think that's a definite yes. Okay, we'll work on that. Great. Can I get a thumbs up? That was our first successful interaction as a community, and I'm really excited about that. Can I get a little B if it's a thumbs up, if you're happy that we'll have certificates? Yay, okay, awesome. Yeah, you're getting it. So if you just joined us, a little B is a thumbs up, because when you type a B, it looks like a thumbs up, and a little P is a thumbs down because it looks like a thumbs down. Awesome, good. There are 79 of us, and now I will jump into the meat of it. Ready? Drum roll. Okay, here we go. I invite you on a journey where we will exchange information and learn about each other. And in this journey, who you are is the heroine. So if you have seen Hunger Games, please give me a thumbs up. Kirsten, yes, you're supposed to hear, but she can't hear me. Oops. Oh, Akanksha just came in. Lovely. Thank you, Akanksha. She's head of strategy and program director of Oxford Entrepreneurs and MBA at Syed Business School, Oxford. She's originally from India and passionate about all things we do here. Kudos to everybody here. So, ladies, this is the story beginning, and you are the heroine. This is you so far based on the first 1,000 applications. There are 6 high school age students. Good on you. Very good job. And there are about, in the first 1,000, there are 240, what we would say, university age students or student age. There are, the majority of you are 23 to 35, so early career starters. And we have about 125 for the 1,000 first beginners who are 36 plus. So that actually means that we have a wonderful range of heroes with us. Some of you are students, some of you are working, some of you are maybe at home, maybe are mothers. And in fact, I would love to find out how many of you have children. So if you would tell us, not just how, whether you have children, but how many children you have, that would be lovely. Because I must say, the reason I got into coding was because my mother, when I was 6 years old, taught me BASIC. How many children do you have? Let's see. How many should we go up to? We'll go we'll go up to 5 and then just 5 plus. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 plus. There you go. If you are a mom, please proudly vote. We don't see who you are. It's just we see the numbers. Oh, excellent. Okay. I'm in the 0 category, but hopefully you're going to move up the scale. Awesome. So 83% are not yet moms, but definitely daughters and granddaughters. 8% have voted that they have 1 child. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you to be here. And 9% of you have 2 children. Oh, how wonderful. What a great thing. So this is you as a group. Let's have a look at the countries. This is amazing. So the first 1,000 applicants, we are Europe heavy, but if you look at this, it's amazing that we are starting to see people from South America, all of Africa, the Middle East, the Far East, China, Australia. And I must say that Pakistan has overtaken India, because right now I think we have about 118 applicants from India and 442 from Pakistan. So can we have a thumbs up for every girl from Pakistan here? I think Malala is so proud of all of you, and I certainly am. So thumbs up for all of you. I think this gives you an idea of how global this has become. It's a little bit more than what we expected, to be honest. And I'll show you this. Originally, we thought that if we can get 500 applicants we opened the applications, the pre-registrations on April 2nd. We thought that if by middle of July, the start of the program, we can get 500 of you to pre-register, that then we will have been successful. And look what happened. Within 2 weeks, around here, the 500 mark was breached. Within 3 weeks, the 1,000 mark was breached, and now we are a little bit above 2,000. So these are all the heroes, and actually suddenly we needed to ask you what your needs and what your wants are so that we can try to match all of this need. So congratulations to all of you who are here. Okay, now every hero encounters some kind of problem, right? In the Hunger Games, it was Katniss's sister was chosen, and she wanted to save her, so she volunteered as a tribute. So now suddenly she had a real problem. What I would like to ask you is if you could, in the chat now, type in what was your main motivation, or what was the problem that you're hoping to solve with the Summer of Code or with learning to code. If you could think of the number one problem or the number one goal that made you sign up, please share that now. Is it to find a job? Is it to do something in academics? Is it to get an internship? Is it to get a raise? Do you want to switch jobs? Do you want to improve your job? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to teach your children? What is it that made you sign up? In the story of you, what brought you here? Please start typing. Improve coding skills. Be Deb.dot at coding. Who is Deb.dot, Leah? Change career. Scientist who wants to broaden their skill. Finding a job. Practice. Possibilities in the future. Internships. Logical thinking. To learn something challenging. Wants to learn data science. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay. Bolster skills, motivation, gather knowledge, change career. Brilliant. Okay, so each of you are now writing your own story. You are the hero and you have your own challenge that you will overcome. Most problems are usually on 3 levels. So there is the external problem. I would like you to take 10 seconds and just think of the external problem you're trying to solve. So usually an external problem is I'm stuck in a boring job, or I'm overwhelmed and I want to automate some of my work, or I want to learn something more stimulating, or I want to improve my data science skills. So these are the external things. Or maybe I just want to return to the workforce after I had my kids. I see the interaction going on. Wonderful. Lovely. So this is your external problem. Let's have a look at the internal problem. So in Katniss's case, the external problem was that she had to survive. This is fairly easy to understand why it's an external problem. But the internal problem is she had to do this while remaining humane. And so the question to you for me is, what's your internal motivation? And if I think about this, to be honest, I'll share it with you. My father died when I was 4, and my mother, even though she had 3 degrees, 3 university-level degrees, couldn't find a job that would allow her to support us in Hungary, the 2 of us, because she had a chemistry teaching degree. If she had had something like this, the Summer of Code available to her, it would have changed so much. So for her, the internal motivation was she had a child too, a single mother, a widower, and just had to raise a child. So if you have any internal motivation and you're willing to share, please tell us. Yeah, it might be a positive thing. It might be a coolness factor. Okay. Might be cheesy, but I'm trying to make it a little better. Angelica, great. I love you already. Worried about not picking the right career where I'm still on time to choose. That's really good. Anita or Anita. Yes. Yeah, so there's some internal things going on, and perhaps this is one of the reasons why having a female-only environment will be supportive for you. This is our hope for you. Excellent. So we've talked about the external problem we're trying to solve, the internal problem, and let's jump into the heaviest part, the philosophical problem. So for Katniss in the Hunger Games, this is really about tyranny versus democracy. So what is right for in her view, and what is it right in our case? And I want to be very clear on this. So the reason why we're doing the 1 million women to tech here is because of women's rights, is because there is a global gender pay gap, and women still have difficulty participating economically. So we are very much about economically empowering you. And if you remember the slide about the age groups we are focusing on, even though we allow high schoolers to join, our main focus is really to help you, to help 1 million women, hopefully, to get into either a paid job or into starting their own starting or growing their own profitable technical businesses. So that is sort of our philosophical goal, because it's just not good for anybody, and it would be much better when women are thriving in the workplace. It's better for the families, it's better for the companies, it's better for the societies. So what's your philosophical motivation here? And or do you, if you just agree, give me a thumbs up. Wow. Sadia, good on you. I'm going to read this out. Sadia says, women in Pakistan are looked down on in the workforce, especially in tech. I want to break that stereotype. Sadia, you are our next Malala. This is out to you. I want to do something for my parents, says Ayman. Archana says, I want to do my own work with my passion so that my father have not more load. Oh, wonderful, to help your parents. Nandika says, I feel there are too few girls around me in data science and coding, and I'd like to be at the top level and encourage other females. Change in the world. I worked so hard to get a degree. I don't want to just sit home after this. Urva, I really hear you. Absolutely. Everyone in my master's program already thinks I know how to code. I don't. Okay, that's a strong one. I want to start my own business eventually and work and travel remotely. Absolutely. So maybe this might be an internal goal of you, right? If you're looking for flexibility in your work, technology is something that we still need to work on it. But it's one of those jobs that, theoretically speaking, and more companies are noticing you could do from anywhere in the world. So it does give you that flexibility. It could give you that comfort also. Just because it's one of the most in-demand skills, and therefore you will be able to command higher income either as a employee or as a business. Absolutely. And it also gives you security. Security in the sense of some jobs will go out, or at least will develop and modernize. Truth to be told, a lot of caretaking jobs and maybe delivery jobs and menial jobs will be eliminated by automation and robots. And a lot of the knowledge work will also step forward with technology if it doesn't go away. So there is the security aspect. Oh, it's beautiful. Shayada says, yes, I agree with Sadia. Even in classrooms, there's a huge discriminatory attitude between those genders. Sidra, I'm impressed by my friend who's doing well in coding. That's why I also want to learn it. Wonderful. I want to be an example to other girls in Latin America. Deborah, where are you in Latin America? And Saparna wants to create opportunities for women in Meghalaya. Wonderful. Okay, I think if you're at home, please give me a high five. And let's do this. If you, give a high five to everybody by typing a number 5 in your chat, and then we'll move on. So high five now. Pew! Paraguay. Great. And now there's 81 of us. We are growing. Wonderful. Good. Let's move on so that I can cover also the practical aspects. Now the hero meets a guide. this is quite common in many stories. So we hope to be the guide here for you to help you. For the guide to be effective, you do need to know your wants and needs, which is what this call is for. But very briefly, Oxford Entrepreneurs is Europe's largest entrepreneurial student society and the second largest in the world. We are what is called a pan-university student society. So we draw not just from the business school, not just from the sciences, but anybody who is part of Oxford University can join. We have undergraduates, postgraduates, MBAs, executive MBAs, and alumni. Started in 2002, which is interesting because if you know Oxford, the startup space in Oxford just opened in 2017 in the fall, several months ago. So if you look at this, the students were about 15 years ahead of the institution in terms of starting a new initiative. Oxford Entrepreneurs has organized many events, including hackathons, and has been in many large media outlets such as The Telegraph, The Economist, BBC, Financial Times, and so on. Below here, you see our major flagship events. Oxford Inspires, the entrepreneurial conference that takes over the business school. The Oxford Hack, which is the UK's largest hackathon. We have Idea Idol, which is a pitch competition for budding entrepreneurs. And now we have the Women's Summer of Code. 1 Million Women to Tech is a recognized 501c3 nonprofit, educational nonprofit from Silicon Valley, dedicated to closing the gender gap through world-class online tech education. So, oops, I repeated the OE. I have to improve this slide. The reason we teamed up is because 1 Million Women to Tech brings expertise in learning to code workshops, as well as remote education and women's outreach, while Oxford Entrepreneurs brings expertise in organizing hackathons, and they do provide us with venue in Oxford and marketing support. Let's talk briefly about the mission. So, how many of you know this chart? If you do, can you give me a thumbs up, please? This is from the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap report. They've been doing this every year since 2006. So this is a longitudinal study from 2006 to 2017. It is a fantastic resource. You can break it down by regions, by your own country. And very briefly, let's talk about this. Here, let me try to pick a color. Okay, up here would be complete parity between men and women. So anything below that is a percentage gap. And if we look at the global gender gap, it has been slowly improving from about 60 to 63% up to about, would you say 64% or so? This is across all countries that they do measurements in, and across all 4 indices. And they have 4 sub-indices, which I think are really very meaningful. So the first one is health and survival sub-index. And we're doing really well here. This is wonderful. You know, I mean, there used to be the case that unfortunately, female children were not as desirable and therefore might not have received as much health care. But now we are almost at parity with men. Also, the educational attainment is fantastic. I mean, let's look at this. 100 years ago, really, almost no woman could have gone to university, or maybe 200 years ago. But even Malala is fighting for this through the education. Now, the third sub-index here after health and education is economic participation and opportunity. So we're not doing too well here, and there seems to be a stagnation if you really look at this, which is a little bit thought-provoking, but we are hovering around the 60%. This is the gender pay gap you often hear about. And it's not just the pay gap, it's also the numbers in terms of percent participation. And finally, political empowerment sub-index. Well, we are not doing too well. Right now, globally, we went from about 18% to, did you say 22%? So, okay, here is a quick quiz for you. Please type in your answer. Which of these four sub-indices, health, education, economic, or political empowerment, does 1 million women to tech focus on? Education, interesting, Angelica. While we use education, yes. Actually, it's not education, no. Our hope and our goal is to help you with economic participation. Not political, not yet. Economic participation. We do this through education, so you're correct. But the idea is that if you have a skill, if we can take you to a skill level in technology, specifically, let's call this basic programming, where you can at least start as a junior developer, then you can participate in a rapidly growing and very lucrative job market. Exactly, economic participation opportunity. Excellent. So our mission here is with 1 million women to tech is actually to bring 1 million women to tech so that they can be empowered economically and participate in the workforce as a technologist. And this is actually wider than you think, because in the upcoming years, there is almost no job that will not require some basic knowledge of technology. It's not just the software engineers. It's the product managers, the project managers, the accountants, the lawyers, the teachers. Everybody needs them. So this is what we're working on here, the economic participation. Excellent. Was this helpful? I wanted to make this clear. Thumbs up? Cool. Good. Okay. Briefly, I will show you the Oxford entrepreneurs demographics. This is because most of the companies that come to us and partner with us or want to hire from our events are very interested in this. And currently, Oxford Entrepreneurs is very Oxford focused. The 11,500 members since 2002 are the majority of them, 81% are Oxford students. About half of them are undergraduate, quarter graduate, about 5% MBA, good job MBA students, and about 26% alumni. Here are our current followers on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Archana gave us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thumbs ups. Thank you, Archana. High five. Oh. High five. Great. Good. And this is the Oxford Hackathon, the UK's largest hackathon. We had about 800 plus applicants, from which we chose 358 hackers to come, representing 93 universities from 25 countries, actually. It's not just universities, though. We had a lot of young professionals. But I must tell you that there were only 71 women. And it was very difficult for us to get so many hackers. Originally, we had only 8% female, so that meant there were 92% dudes. And by reaching out to every single university in Europe, we looked up their computer science departments as a team and wrote to their professors and the head of the academic department, and we asked them to send their women. That's how we were able to bring this up. But it was a lot of work. And this is where you can help, even if you don't have coding experience. Because if you know of any either computer science or just any place where there's a hub of women waiting who could benefit from this, you can reach out and help us get the message out. So yes, you can help a lot, actually. Let's move on. Where are we? We are the Said Business School at the University of Oxford. So if you do come to Oxford or visit the UK, you will see us. We will have a lot of women and tech events going on during Oxford Inspires, which is the entrepreneurship conference, which will be July 14th and 15th when we are kicking off the Summer of Code. Oh, Nessa, thank you. Oh, I remember you. Definitely. Nessa is always happy to share at Oxford University Scientific Society. 10 thumbs up, Nessa. I think you have tremendously contributed. Thank you. And I'm so glad that you're joining us. Here are some of the previous sponsors. This is interesting for you if you're looking for a job. We are very happy to go after other employers as well. And the truth is, the more women there are and the more interesting demographic we can show them, the more keen they become on sponsoring, which is why we asked you all those questions in the sign up form. We don't share the details with them unless you want to apply to them and work, then you can give it to them. But by us allowing to share the total number of women and the age groups and their interests as a group without the names, this is really attractive to sponsors. So for example, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, big banks, JP Morgan, Morgan Chase, Credit Suisse, Deutsche Bank, NatWest. 3i is a very famous and reputable investment company. Of course, Accenture, Unilever. And we also have Tata, even Cobra Beer, as well as startups. We have been working with really organizations of all levels. And it's very interesting because startups really feel the war for talent. They can't always compete. Well, they can't compete, let's face it, with Google and Facebook and so on. And so in their localities and sometimes in their industry, they're really hurting for people who can make a difference in technology. And nowadays, to quote the CEO of Lloyd's, who is a fantastic woman, the first female CEO of Lloyd's, she said, nowadays there is no company that isn't a technology company. So you're in the right place if you are either looking for a job or looking to create a company. Okay, I'm going to jump back a little bit more in terms of what do you want. You mentioned to us already, you know what, I'll come back to this after I tell you about the course, because we had specific questions. Okay, let me jump into the course. High five at Suparna. Cool. There were questions about language, which languages will be taught. Is it suitable for beginners? How many hours will it take, and so on. Can you give me a thumbs up if you have seen our Summer of Code course menu? This is both on the website as well as on our Facebook page. And I'll just quickly go through it. If you're a complete beginner, you've never written a line of code, then week 1, Introduction to Python, will be suitable to you. Great, a lot of you have seen it. If you have seen it, if you have questions about these first 4, can you please type it in while I describe them so I can answer them? This Introduction to Python course was extremely popular, and it will be in Oxford, and it will be rerun by us. So last term, during Hillary term, which is fancy Oxford language for sort of January to March semester, this Introduction to Python course was run here at Oxford. Without much advertisement, it received about 1,200 Facebook interest right away. And some of my current team members went and couldn't get into the room. It was so packed. It was very diverse, lots of women. And we have heard 2 different kinds of feedback about them. One is that it was very suitable for the total beginner. So if you don't want to spend, I don't know, a year or 9 months learning, on your own, come to these 5, to this 1 week. What you will learn is just basic Python syntax. So to get started, really, to install it and run it on your computer. It will be, however, very slow. So if you're a false beginner and you maybe know other languages, this might be a little too easy. And we have heard some participants said it was a bit too slow for them, which is why week 2, we have the Python the Hard Way, which is an introduction. However, if you know the Hard Way series, it is quite rigorous. So we go through very quickly all the data types, the control flows, objects, lists, dictionaries, everything like that. But it is suitable for beginners. Will it really be possible to learn Python up to Hard Way in 3 weeks? That does depend, of course, on you, how much background you have. It depends on how much time you will put in. But basic syntax, yes, can be learned quite quickly. Okay. Would an intermediate benefit from week 1? No, I don't think so. No, you will benefit from week 2. Is it really possible to learn Python in 3 weeks? It's a large programming language. You won't become a master, but yes, I think it is possible to learn the syntax so that you can actually start becoming an autonomous learner by reading either books or tutorials, depending on your learning style. Our goal is to get you to become an autonomous learner as quickly as possible. Beginner in Python, but only thing that I know is the most easiest and powerful language. Okay. So we don't start in week 1, or there will be alternative tracks. That's a very good question, Kitsumpang. Introduction to Python, yes, it might be too easy for you if you're intermediate. I'm going to try to see if we could perhaps add a some kind of intermediate questions to each course, so that if it's too easy, you could jump to maybe some challenges that allow you to just revise and drill them. This is good feedback. Thank you. Right now, I think it would be too easy. So maybe what we can do is, some textbooks will often have warm-up exercises, and then they will have difficult exercises, and they will have research level exercises. So maybe we can add things like recursion or something interesting. And if you're coming from another language, then you can just jump into the Python and try it. Deborah is asking whether this webinar will be recorded. Yes, it is being recorded, and all of you will receive a replay link, I think 24 hours after we finish. Feel free to share it and invite others, please. Sadia says, great, okay. Okay, let me just run through this. Week 3, Introduction to Natural Language Processing, NLP with Python. If you're a humanities student, anybody here who does either, I don't know, linguistics, languages, English, or other humanities, could you type in what you are doing or what you did? This will be very useful to you because we don't, there is no prerequisite of knowing a lot of Python. However, you will immediately be learning, let's call them recipes or applications on, for example, how to extract data from the web, how to save it in files, how to run statistics on it, such as basic word frequencies. And if you work with text in any shape or form, this will be extremely useful to you. It's very short, it's 1 week, but you'll be surprised how much you can learn. Python courses from Udacity. Yes, Udacity will definitely help. Really, anything that you study will help. So yes, Udacity is fantastic. History, language, sociology, fantastic. Spanish and linguistics, lovely. And finally, introduction to AI. This will be a very light introduction. It's not meant to give you a data science background. What it's meant to give you, so this is the only one that's more tutorial focused. It just gives you a introduction to Google's TensorFlow and a few data sets and a few ways to show how you can cluster things and categorize things. You will be doing AI, but you will be more of a consumer of it rather than a scientist. However, I think this is excellent. You can put it on your portfolio. If you go into internships or job interviews, you can mention that you've taught for yourself. Okay, this is the Python section. Are there any other questions about this, or can I move on to week 5 to 8? If I can move on, please give me a thumbs up. With a little B in your keyboard. Great, let's move on. Lovely. This is the JavaScript from your guide. Again, we start with an introductory course. This will be a little bit more intense than the introduction to Python because we want to be rigorous. If you're a total beginner, you will be able to do it, but probably at a very basic level. We will try to give this to people who have some sense, at least, of some other language. But if you're a total beginner, you can do this as well. Just you probably won't be able to complete all the exercises, which is totally fine. Just go to as far as you can. What will we cover in AI part? We will cover the introductory setup of TensorFlow and 1 or 2 use cases of it. Cool. Week 6 is in the advanced JavaScript. I've already put up the link to the, or we've put up the link to the syllabus. This is quite intensive. You will learn things like prototypal inheritance in JavaScript, object-oriented work. You should know CSS and HTML quite well in order to take this. But if you want to stay in web development, then this will be a very useful course. We also want to cover a little bit of the history of JavaScript because it is the language of the web. And so if you are going to work in any sort of full stack engineering job, it's just a good idea to know how the language evolved and why it is the way it is. What's a prerequisite for JavaScript? Introduction to JavaScript doesn't have prerequisites. You can just jump in as a total beginner. The advanced JavaScript has quite a big list of prerequisites. I would say CSS, HTML, and at least you should be able to read JavaScript syntax, so you should know objects and functions. I'm new to JavaScript. Will I be able to do week 6 after completing week 5? Are you a total newbie, Adza? Will you have resources such as slides and books? That's a very good question. You will have, I don't know if slides is the word, you will have code and walkthroughs, and you will have somebody explaining it, and you can ask questions. Invisibility during 1 week. Can I catch up on everything a week later? Very interesting question, Angelica. So my answer to that is yes. The goal of all of this is to record these courses and make them available widely, so you'll be able to catch up. However, because we wanted to give a synchronous or at the same time, we wanted to create an engaged group of people who can share the learning, we will set the deadlines for the challenges and the weekly hackathon. So the prize winning for the specific week will finish on the Friday of each week, and I will talk about it. So if you can study it and work on it later on your own, but you will have missed the chance to win the prizes and so on. Okay. Do we need specific IDs or certain OS? Very good question. No, you don't. You can do it on anything. We are trying to make it accessible. Personally speaking, if you want to be a technologist, it is still the case that either a Unix or a Mac will be better. But we will try to all of this that's in the Summer of Code is doable also on a PC. I have no experience or knowledge about JavaScript or HTML. Will I be able to do week 6, 7, 8? You'll be able to do week 5 and week 7. Probably not. You can attempt week 6. I encourage you, but it will be very fast. I think it's not really suitable to the. That's a good feedback. We will try to offer easy versions in each week and hard versions, but week 6 is really intermediate and advanced. And honestly, you will have enough stuff from week 5 that you can revise and work on. Don't worry. Will there be any problems on working on Linux, just in case? No, you should. Well, if you're working on Linux, you can probably solve your own problems. Marfa. Sarah, good. Week 7 is interesting. Week 7 is the only one where we aren't actually coding per se. And some people have already suggested maybe we use a different tool than InVision App. But right now, InVision App seems to be the de facto standard for creating interactive, high-definition mobile app prototypes. The nice thing about this is within 1 week, you can come up with an idea in your team, come up with the screens, and then just by dragging and dropping, you can design an app. And then you can put it on your mobile phone and your friend's mobile phone, and they can sort of interact with it. There's no database and no code behind it, but because it's interactive, you learn user interaction and design. And then in week 8, if you have enough skill in JavaScript, basically if you can finish week 6, then we will help you to make the app that you did in week 7 and actually write it in React.js, which is Facebook's JavaScript framework. Sadia, which programming language is preferred to use for working on AI projects? So we're going to go with Python. How many hours of webinars will there be each week? How many hours will likely need to spend on the exercises? Sarah Rosanovsky, you hit the nail on the head. I need to ask all of you. It's one of the reasons we're doing these webinars is because we need your feedback. We have a suggestion, but I would love your voting on this. Let me see if I can get to it. Let me move on, give you the timeline that we're thinking of doing, and then I'll ask you to give a feedback. Main part of week 7 is UI UX. Want to learn this? Really excited. Archana, thank you. You know, these type of comments make it worthwhile. All of us, about 31 of us at Oxford who are volunteers, we're doing this purely on a volunteer basis. And right now, it's pretty busy during term time. Lots of exams and the dissertations have to be submitted. So really grateful for positive reactions. Okay. Week 9, 10, 11, 12, I must say, is for the more advanced. There are a lot of applicants who do have a computer science or STEM background, and so we wanted to give something for them to tinker with. Obviously, it's just 1 week, but the truth is you can go through a few tutorials and you can have a crack at something in 1 week. Even in 2 days at hackathons, you're able to make something. So if you have a whole week, you can either do it less intensively or just go at it and really build something. Week 9 is to give you the basic of blockchain. We have the Oxford Blockchain Society who will be giving us this content. I will need to get you more information on it. Week 10 is virtual reality. Also, we are now discussing with a couple of virtual reality startups, and I'm trying to get Facebook perhaps also to bring us some interesting material and challenges. The same with augmented reality. And we left a surprise week for 2 reasons. One is because we'd like to find out what all of you need the most and reserve a little space for that. And also it's possible that if we get a fantastic challenge with interesting prizes, then we can announce something exciting for you. Nandika, do I need some specific previous knowledge for week 9? So all of these, the last 3, are towards advanced users. You don't need specific knowledge, but we expect that you can program in at least 1 language so that you can jump in and understand. This is not for teaching programming. This is for you to actually explore a new area. So does that make sense? The first 4 weeks is kind of Python-ish. The next 4 weeks is kind of JavaScript and web-ish. And this last 4 weeks is meant for the little bit more, well, not a little bit, the more advanced people. Good. The timeline, we opened the registrations, well, actually on the 2nd of April, because we didn't want you to think it was a joke. We will close pre-registrations on July 1st to give us a little chance to really review the demographics and also to see who is still interested. I'm an ELE engineer. Would this month be doable for me? Urva, I think so, the last month. You can also come to the others, but yes. Yeah, weeks 9 to 12 are pretty advanced. If you read the main website, we wrote these learning paths for you, and I'll cover that. July 10, we will open the real registrations, which is when we are trying to decide what the capacity will be. We're hoping that we could get 50,000 women to sign up. And if 50,000 women pre-register, our sense is at least 5,000 will actually commit. To give you some ideas, we have 2,000 registrations so far, but only about 360 of you signed up for this webinar. And currently there are 70 of you on the call. So, you know, it depends a little bit. We'll give last minute cancellation opportunity for those who did get a spot so that you can give it up if something changed in your life, and we will give it to the people on the wait list. And then the first course will start July 14th to July 20th. Good. The weekly cadence, to answer your question, how many hours should you devote? Saturday, 9 a.m., we hope to run a team building opportunity. If you don't have a team yet, we will bring everybody together and throw out some interesting topics and challenges and give you a structured way to meet people in your time zone or in your interest area so that you could form teams if you wish to. And we open the Hackathon Challenge. We would like to give you at least 2 hours of workshops a day, Monday through Friday. And besides that, 2 hours of live Q&A on Slack where you can ask questions. You can always do more, but this is what we would recommend. At the minimum, if you can work for a couple of hours during Monday through Friday on the material, I think that's the minimum investment of time that will get you somewhere. If you happen to have the luxury of having your full time available, we will have sufficient problem sets for you to kind of do it like a boot camp and really do a full-time work equivalent work. Okay, I need to ask you a little bit. Can you please type in how many of you, or can you type in how many hours a week do you think you're planning to devote to this during the summer of code? So is it 2 hours, sorry, so how many hours a day, sorry. Is it 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day? Can you do more, 4 or 8? What's the purpose of team? How do you join teams? 10, great, 5, great. The purpose of teams is that the challenges, the weekly challenges, you can compete in teams of up to 6 people. So the more people there are in your team, the better chance you have of winning because you'll just have more woman power. Oh, great. 4, 8. Wow, we really have a wide range, 10, 15 hours. Okay. That's really good feedback. Thank you. 2 hours per day, 4 to 6. Yeah. The idea is Friday, 9 a.m., we have a code freeze. And judges' deliberation runs from 9 to 12. We will announce the winners at noon. And we will interview you for a press release, probably like this via a video interview. We will publish the press release and send you your prizes. You can decide whenever you want to work with your teams, whenever you watch the materials, they will be recorded, when you do the exercises. All of you are in different time zones. So we will have to make some decisions based on the time zones. It is very likely that the teaching will happen during the work hours of the sponsor. So we will try to get some international sponsors, some in Europe, some in America, some right now we don't have any in Asia yet, to cover different time zones, but it is a difficult thing. And of course, you always have the ability to post questions anytime where we are monitoring the forums and answering. Okay, was that helpful? Is team building necessary? No, you can work solo if you wish. But it will be really fun. Cool. Next. The challenge is, how do the hackathons work? We are planning 12 weekly hackathons for you that are kind of smallish. 3 monthly hackathons because they're 3 months. And we will have one that runs from the beginning to the end, like an open category. So if you wanted to work on a specific project or create a mobile app or do something really cool, we'll have a grand finale that opens from the beginning and in the end, and you can compete. You can compete in one or all of them. And we're planning to break this down by age and by ability so that young coders can win without the older ones taking away their spots. So an age category for 14 to 17, an age category for 18 to 22. Probably we will include the sort of anybody who is undergraduate, and then we will have the graduates and everybody above that. The ability, we would like to have 3 levels, sort of beginner, everybody else who's not a beginner. So I put down STEM, but it could include non-STEM people who have experience, and a computer science or sort of very advanced level. To be honest, these are plans based on who shows up and who is committed. Our goal, of course, is to give you as many great experiences as we can. So it is possible that some of this will be adjusted, but this is our current plan. Is that clear? Are there limited seats in the July registrations? Right now, no, because there are 2,000 plus of you, and we would like to have 50,000 applications and make like history. So right now, there is not a limit yet now. Oh, you mean the actual registration? Yeah, well, that will be a limit depending on how much money we have raised from sponsors and how many instructors we can have. Yes, we're aiming to have about 1 to 10, so about 1 instructor to 10 women. So it depends a little bit on how much sponsorship we can raise from sponsors. teams up to 6 people. No guys, sorry, but they're very welcome to share. Any age and any experience level is okay, but to keep it fair, we will put you into the highest category of the highest skilled person. So if there's 6 of you and one of you is a computer science student, we will ask you to compete in the computer science section. In order to be eligible for your prizes, because actually this event is better than free, you can get things, probably software, coupons, maybe books, maybe internships, maybe jobs. So it's better than free. We request you will need to fill out a complete personal bio, a complete project bio that we can then showcase, and we will ask you for video as well. There were lots of questions about teams, right? So you don't have to be in a team, but why wouldn't you? The benefits are great. Not to mention that we will try to give admission preference to a whole team, because the truth is you're more likely to complete the study and the event if you have a team. It's just how humans work. We will also give preference to local teams who are in the same locale. So it is possible that you have a team across different geographical regions. But if you are in a physical locality, that means we might have a better chance to, with your help, to organize a local event. And therefore, we are definitely looking for teams of 6 or even multiples of 6 in a specific city or locale. And finally, a positive peer group is the highest predictor of educational and other success. That's how we humans work. And it is really my wish and my hope that you will take advantage of this. Will Slack be open to you? Maybe we can coordinate teams that way. Exactly, yes. Slack will be open, absolutely. Adza, if you saw the previous slide, every Saturday morning, so right after or right when we announce the hackathon questions, there will be a chance to meet people on Slack and team up with them. So you can you can create teams on the fly. You can even switch. This is a Python learning curve. I went through this already. This is on the main website as well. So if you want, you can look at it. The 5 thumbs up, thank you. This is the JavaScript track. I wanted to say, even if you can't do some of it, you can attempt it. And then in the rest of the time, you can always work on your own projects, because people will be online on the forums and answering questions. This is a fantastic opportunity to have engineers really help you out, and mentors, and so on. How will we set up the teams? Will it be random? It will not be random. It will not be random. You will get together on Slack, which is a messaging service. We will do it around. We will facilitate you finding teams, but you will decide if you want to join a team. We will definitely not force anybody to join any team. Cool. Let's wrap up here. We are pretty close, to be honest. I really wanted to learn more about all of you, but I think we're running out of time. So let me just give you a call to action. We would like to reach 50,000 pre-registrations by June 1st. Can I ask you this? If it were up to you, what do you think would be the fastest way to get 50,000 women to join? Please type in your ideas for us. We, as volunteers, we really, really want to hear your ideas. What would be the fastest way to reach out to get 50,000 women to sign up and join us, or to pre-register? LT, I don't know what to decide. I would love to do both tracks. LT, then try both tracks. You will see very much as you start doing it. Share this with universities, Mariam says. Ads on Facebook. Facebook. University pages. Could I ask the following? This is my request to all of you, because the bigger this movement becomes, the more female alumni will be available to you, the better quality questions we will have. And I hope that we will find more committed women. If you could share all of these with your networks, universities, alumni networks, mothers groups, whatever you can think of. If you even know for example, if you can talk to the career director or the director of the career services in your university. They usually are very receptive and have a great network. They can also send it to other universities. Please share. This is our website. This is our Facebook. This is our Twitter. And if you are able to volunteer with us, mostly on outreach, really, then please do so. Really, even 10 minutes, 20 minutes a week can make a huge difference. So I'm going to now say that it is our hope that with the Summer of Code, you actually learn new skills. If you are able to spend the whole summer coding, that you will be ready to join a conversion course or a software engineering bootcamp because you will have the prerequisites. And if you already know how to code, then perhaps during this summer, you will have a chance to create a portfolio of projects that you can showcase and get a job, preferably several job offers, so that you can negotiate the best possible salary for yourself. That's our goals. If you are interested in volunteer opportunities, please stay on for another 10 minutes. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming today. It is such a pleasure to have you all. Oh, wonderful. Limit seats and give advantage to people who invited others. Great. Okay, we'll need to set up some kind of tracking for that. Good idea, Julia. Will this be recorded and can I share this webinar with my friends? Yes, Nandika. My understanding is that this tool will send you, all of you who registered, will send you a replay link in 24 hours, and you can share that with anybody, definitely. Oh, great. You know what? I also think that this goes on to YouTube, and I'll send out an email to people. Unfortunately, only about 60% of the people who signed up open our emails, but I'll send out a replay link as well. University ambassadors. Yes, we need university ambassadors, Sidra. What is it meant about? Okay, another question. What is meant about donations? What is meant about donations is that all of this event is free. However, this is a not-for-profit organization. And while we volunteers are totally unpaid, it is a problem in the technology field that many female engineers who are already successful software engineers, because there are so few of them, they are always asked to come and mentor others. And I know several women who told me now they don't have time for their own career development because they're always asked to join these women's events. What we would love to do is through donations to be able to pay some female engineers to come and mentor you. If we can raise any money, that's what this will go towards, so that they can give you one-on-one mentoring. We're working on especially career preparation. Thank you so much for your time. Wonderful. So I will say goodbye to you. Otherwise, if you're interested in volunteering with us, I will quickly go through the process. The call for volunteers is open. Here are the benefits to you. If you volunteer with us, which is a minimum of 3 hours a week from now going forward, you will be guaranteed a spot at the Summer of Code. This is our minimum commitment to you. You will have priority for local events. What does this mean? We are trying to create some local chapters where you can maybe come together in a co-working space or university or a childcare center. And if you're a volunteer, then of course, we can only organize about 16 of these around the world. But if you're a volunteer and you want to organize it in your local area, then you will have priority to do so. And finally, we want to give you access to Oxford faculty for mentoring. So we have a few supporters from the business school, as well as the economics department. And I'm working on the computer science department as well. So this is what we would like to give you. You also receive education. Oxford Entrepreneurs has a leadership certificate, which will teach you the basics of management and leadership. This is interesting for you if you have not had a lot of management experience. We will give you a Break the Glass Ceiling Success for Women in the Workplace training, and you can join the Oxford Business School Mindfulness course remotely. And it will also give you meaning. So if you would like to leave a legacy and really do something on a global scale, change the lives of 1 million women, their communities, and the world, then we think that volunteering is definitely a way to do so. The specifics are such that we give you a couple days of training after you've given us your resume and your bio and your interest and your skills. We'll teach you about our productivity tools and how we communicate online. We mostly use Trello, Slack, and these webinars. We will ask you for a 1-week trial where you take a very small task, probably an outreach task, and we see how well you communicate. Are you proactive? Are you interested? Do you do as you say that you will do? And if that's the case, then we will offer you a place to stay with us as a volunteer. Here are the time commitments. Friday, this is UK time, is when we meet 12 to 12:20. We have a little bit of skills and sharing until 1 o'clock, and then we have virtual lunch together. If you're in a time zone that doesn't allow this, we will try to find a team that could meet with you UK morning or evening so that you don't have to stay up middle of the night. We require you to do 1 co-working slot with your team. So that means you're both on Messenger or Slack together and you can communicate real time. And we will give you a once a week feedback with your team lead, which personally speaking is very, very good for career development. Here are the teams: peoples and processes, operations and product, sales and marketing, finance, procurement, and reporting. As a volunteer, you're not quite likely to be in the finance section unless you work for a company already and you can negotiate some good deal for us as a nonprofit. Then please help us if we can use your products. But otherwise, we're really looking for people who are good with people and can recruit well, operations and product, who can help us coordinate with the workshop makers who are in the sponsorship companies, and sales and marketing, which is reaching out to sponsors and potential donations and memberships. Our widely important goal would be to raise $500,000 by July 14th. If we could do this, then we could hire instructors, and this would be for 5,000 women. Really, it would be only $100 per person. The idea is that if we can get 50,000 pre-registrations, about 5,000 of those will be very serious, and we expect them to do the full registration. This way, if we had about $100 per head, then we can give you one-on-one interaction with mentors. If we can't raise this money, we'll still go ahead because the curricula is available. It's just won't be, it will be very similar to a MOOC. And in reality, we would like to give you personalized attention. These are our sub-goals. We would love to grow the core team. Right now, we're at 31. There are another 12 joining us next week and another 12 in June. We are looking for 32 instructors and about 80 volunteers. And so here are the goals for each of the subgroups. The curricula we have mostly, but it would be great to have maybe some quality check, and even maybe going through and trying to anticipate Q&As in advance. The sponsors workshops, local charters, these are only if we are actually able to find enough volunteers. Otherwise, we can do everything online. Okay. Any other questions? Is pre-registration enough, or do we need to register again? You will need to register again, but we will only invite those who show clear engagement and who we think will commit really to doing the whole course. I want to volunteer, but your website is lagging. I can't register or log in. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, let me just put up the volunteer link. If I do this, you should see a apply now button. Does that work? Trishita was asking a question. Any other questions? How can you volunteer? Yes, if you go onto the main website, well, first of all, I just put in a link that you can click in the chat, which says apply now, but that will take you to the main website. 1millionwomen2tech.com/summer-of-code, and there is a call for volunteers button there, or you can just directly go to the call for volunteers page. They will ask you for your email and your country. I think that's it. I put the link in there as well. Okay. Even if you don't volunteer, please, sharing with your network will really help. Okay, I'd like to close up here. What did you find most valuable during our time together? Please type in. You cannot see it. Ooh. Okay, Kitsum, I'm going to send an email then to follow up, okay? Just to, if you can't see the call for volunteers. You need to be logged in to use this form. Ooh, okay, I'll try to fix that. Thank you, everybody. That's not good. Okay, I'll figure something and send out an email. I apologize. Two-way interaction, the ability to ask your own questions helped. Great. What did you find the most valuable before we break out? That we'll be able to move forward wherever we are. Start from Elizabeth, thank you. Worth attending the webinar. Great work. Thank you, Archana. Wow, I love you already. I hope one day I can meet you in person. Okay, motivation to learn something that's totally new and get excited for the challenge. Lovely. Motivation. It's amazing to see so many dedicated women. I really think so. Honestly, this energy will be so... and we women, I think, are really good at supporting each other. So it's good. Connecting to others. All questions answered. Explanation of the courses and goals. Great. Motivation. And it gave you a clear view about the Summer of Code. Excited and motivated. Great work in today's Q&A, inspiring. Made the Q&A engaging. Thank you. trying. I have a lot of exams coming up, so trying my best. Lovely. Thank you so much. You will receive the replay link. Please share on Facebook. You know what? Yes, I'll fix the volunteer sign up and post the link on Facebook and send an email, and hope to receive many of your interests. Great. Congratulations for making it so far, and looking forward to working with you. This was Ilona Budapesti, President of Oxford Entrepreneurs and Chief Storyteller of 1 Million Women to Tech. Good night or good day, wherever you are. Bye.